Good evening, race fans, and a very warm welcome here to the paddock at Austin, Texas for the Circuit of the Americas. My name is Webbo, here to join you tonight for the first time on the League Racing TV channel for League Racing and for this Esports Masters League F2 for PlayStation. We are round 5 of the championship, and I hope that you're looking forward to a fun night of racing ahead of us. Like I say, I'm new here, but I'm not new to commentary at all. So I'm getting used to the names of the drivers, to the setup of the league in particular. But do keep me company, if you will, in the live chat, and I'll do my best. If you keep it positive, keep it clean, I'll do my best to interact with you as much as humanly possible. Like I say, this is round 5 of the championship. I'll be here all being well for the remaining rounds of this championship. And talking of championship, let's look at the standings, shall we, as we find ourselves coming out of the round 4. LDL Esports, with 2 wins and 4 podiums, are on 149 points, so a good clear lead of 31 points ahead of Team GeForce, who have a single win and 2 podiums on 118 points. Then Rising Lions Esports are on 117, just 1 point behind P2. Grand Track 10 are in P4 on 106 points with 3 podiums to their names, and Exostea are also on 105 points, just 1 place away from 4th. They have 1 win and 1 podium apiece. Then, with yet to step onto our podium, are Team ESRL on 64 points, RVL Esports on 54, LRN on 53, QSL on 47, and Deluxe Esports on 37 points. So everyone has scored so far. Representing the teams tonight, the latest information I have is that in the Red Bull, LDL will be represented by Xenon and Nico. In the Mercedes, GT10 will be Q Quartz and also Boya Lulu. Then in the McLaren, we have Killer Storm and Thomas Ledo. 94 for RVL. For LRN in the Ferrari, Jackie Boy and Jerome. Then for QSL, we have Chosky and Rumsko in the Aston Martin. Alpine are not being represented tonight. We have a maximum of 18 drivers ready to go for you tonight, and they're on their way to the lobby, of course. For Williams and TGF, we have Paul Power and Lucas. For EXT in the AlphaTauri, YCN and Namsco. Then for the Lions, we have Nordic Ninja and Rambo. In fact, Rambo, that is. And in the Haas, for DLX, we have Turu and also Tigray. So I hope that all that information is important to you. I hope that you are here repping your teams. Let me know which teams are being best viewed here tonight for PSF2, and let me know your predictions. I want to know which drivers I should be focusing on. I've only come across 1 or 2 of these guys before in other league racing that I've done, so I know that those guys particularly are quick, but let me know if there's someone in particular I should be watching on this coverage here tonight. We look forward to seeing how the drivers tackle this 20-corner Circuit of the Americas. We have a huge mix of corner types. Fantastic. Big Red is the first corner, of course. The drivers from the cockpit perspective will be staring straight at the sky, trying to pick a braking point for that first corner when the lights go out. But of course, we've got the small matter of qualifying to come. Then, of course, the tremendous S's section before a tight turn 11 leading on to the longest straight all the way down to turn 12. One of the most popular overtaking opportunities. Then it's a little bit of switchback, a nice 3 apex right-hander, 16, 17 and 18 with 2 almost 90-degree corners finishing off the lap. Turn 19 and turn 20, of course. Welcome to Diesel Kevin, and good to have you with us. I appreciate you already speaking up, and I want to hear from everybody who is tuning in to enjoy tonight's racing. If not, you'll just hear me rambling the whole time through, but that's kind of my job. And I'm going to take it as a sneaky challenge here tonight. It's not an official challenge, but my sneaky challenge tonight is going to be to make sure that you guys are late to tune into F1 at 8 p.m. because you're so enthralled by the race that we've got ahead of us here for the prospect. So let's see if we might be able to make that happen. I have got too much sound going on in my ears, so I'm going to just alter my sound, and you'll hopefully not see any interruption from that perspective, but we'll get on to the track very shortly. I'll make sure that I give you as much information as is appropriate on screen. One of my little foibles, and if the boss is tuning in, he can tell me if I'm doing the wrong thing here, but one of my little foibles is that I don't like to give away telemetry, especially when it's a team event, and you tend to get a lot of teammates watching and in various chat forums, and they can help out each other. We have got, I think, the first car out on track is Paul Parra, and he's in the Williams, just getting the car organised and set up. So we'll see who manages to start the first flying lap first, and they tend to get the benefit of the first coverage, but it looks like Nordic Ninja has actually had our first overtake of the evening. Not particularly hard fought there by Paul Parra. And in the Alfa Romeo, not Sauber kick or stake tonight, but Alfa Romeo, I will be calling this car for the duration of this game as a stickler for accuracy. But this, of course, is the RLS team. Nordic Ninja. It's kind of a reset point here for the season from my perspective, because I don't know anybody's form other than the championship standings as they are. But it's only round 5 of 10, so it's a little bit early to start putting one hand on trophies and so on. So into the third sector now is Nordic Ninja. And hopefully by now on this particularly torturous racetrack, those soft tyres should be ready to race. He's not pushing them particularly hard, so it does tell me that he's got the temperatures where he wants them. Soft tyres all around for the drivers, it would seem, certainly for this first banker lap. Nobody deciding to set a banker on some medium tyres and save a set of softs for later on. As we head through then the final turn, that was the pit lane exit on the inside. Don't go racing on the pit lane exit. DRS open, and we start the first flying lap of tonight with 15.5 minutes left. One thing to really watch out for on this track is how long it takes to get around both out and in laps. So tackling the big red corner first of all, underneath the unique viewing tower into turn 2 we go, and then a fantastic set of switchback corners, ever decreasing in speed and increasing in radius, these corners, and they will catch you out, especially if you're racing close behind another driver. Be very careful around that turn 8, because you can very easily ride the inside apex curb and give away a track limit warning or an invalidation. This looks like a perfect exit out of turn 11, directly behind his teammate here for Nordic Ninja, both with DRS. I would expect Nordic Ninja to peel across to the left-hand side. There he goes. And we're looking for our braking point, and then down into this all-important turn 12. That was very greedy at the apex, but he made it stick. Tremendous stuff from him, from Nordic Ninja. And then feeding the throttle through. Try and pick the line of least resistance through these corners. Watch out in the race for a sneaky overtake coming from the inside that time. And Mays says Ninja to win tonight. Well, that's an interesting one. I'm going to take that at face value, and maybe that's the pick of the night. Mays there being the boss of the league as far as I'm concerned, and the guy that hired me anyway. So coming out of turn 20, what will this first banker be? A 132.125 for Nordic Ninja. Not quite beaten by the second car on track. That was Xenon out there. Let's ride with Lucas, who should be fairly soon onto a lap, but he's not actually. It was Paul Parra on a 32.413, and this is why I love esports team racing, because straight off the bat these guys are going quickly. There goes Quartz. He is on P1 on a 131.760. Tremendous output straight away there from the GT10 team, and from Quartz who I must tip the hat to for the invitation to the lobby tonight, for making sure that I'm well looked after there. I don't know if he's hosting himself, but he was very quick on the invite, so appreciate that one from Quartz, as Lucas is making the most out of this first lap. A little bit of counter steering on the way out, dab of Oppo, if you will, coming out of the final corner. Might have lost him a tenth, but that's a 1:32.288. Jeroen puts in a 33.9. That has the hallmarks of a charge lap to me for someone of the speed and quality of Jeroen. And just starting a new lap then is the Haas of the DLX driver Turu, from 1985, I believe, will be certainly there. We've got Quartz then still with the fastest time, some 0.4 of a second clear of Nordic Ninja on those first laps. So we'll see if Quartz can take this one all the way to the end of qualifying. Probably get 3 fast laps in, whether you manage to invalidate or not. I appreciate that from admin as well. So good to hear from admin as well. But do let me know if you're here to support your teammates as well. That's very important. Now, we just flirted with disaster there on board with Turu, who almost managed to get an invalidation. He's looking for a good braking opportunity here into turn 12 as his teammate pulls aside. These guys are really on it when it comes to positioning and making sure that they can give away a bit of a tow down the longest straight on the track. They're alternating their exits. They're hanging out on the exit of turn 11 in order to be at VMAX at exactly the right point. But we are struggling, aren't we, with exits from the corners. And oh dear me, that is a very clumsy positioning there from the Kraken branded rear wing of the Williams straight away. Unfortunately, not quite sure. I'm presuming that is in fact Lucas, who hampered a little bit in qualifying, certainly from this perspective anyway. But Turu won't be setting a fast time right this moment. Precious few cars left on the track right now. We've got Killer Storm, we've got Chosky in the Aston Martin. Haven't watched an Aston Martin driver for a little bit, have we yet, on the stream? He's straight into the pit, so thanks for that one. We've got Killer Storm, who I think everyone has now done their fast laps and is just bringing the car home safely, keeping a very close eye on the track map and on their mirrors to make sure that they don't do what we just saw be done to one of their rivals, because I would imagine penalties are fairly severe for that kind of infraction in qualifying, at least if you do ruin someone's lap later on. Well, we've got just 4 cars on track right now, and we've seen most of them heading off into the pits. We've got a couple of outlaps though. Nordic Ninja is back out again, and so is Xenon. Well, we gave Nordic Ninja a little bit of screen time earlier, so we'll perhaps ride with what looks to be a Red Bull in dire need of a bit of a clean down the side pods. It's they're looking very dusty, the Red Bull, isn't it, in the game? I guess it's the matte paint scheme finish on the black sections at the lower half of the side pods that aren't particularly attractive to look at. But yeah, we'll give Xenon the benefit of the next lap, as we've also got on an out lap. We've got our provisional pole sitter Quartz, and we'll see if he can defend his time or whether he has reached the limit of his speed just yet on this first flying lap. The track, though, will ramp up in terms of grip. It will get better and better as the session evolves. However, we've already had almost half the time elapse on the clock already. So the drivers, these guys on track right now that we're looking at, Xenon and Nordic Ninja, they are probably on track for a 3 flying lap run, set of runs here in qualifying, but some of the ones who are only just heading into the pits may be electing deliberately here or by accident to only be running 2 fast laps. So let's join Xenon from 3rd position. He's got a 300th of a second gap to Nordic Ninja to close to get himself up and onto the front row. I love to see different teams in the top 4. That is fantastic. But GT10 look to be in the best position at the moment as we then sit on board and ride the roller coaster through the first sector on board here. And now he had to have a lot of faith in the driver in front to get out of the way. The driver did get out of the way. I'm not convinced it didn't hurt him a little bit, even in terms of just a slight distraction. Whether it was a true penalty on his time or not. 5-place grid penalty for a collision for Rambo already. That is far from ideal. What is ideal, though, is this exit out of turn 11 for Xenon. This is looking really good so far for him. Through sector 1, he was there or thereabouts. Quartz and Nordic Ninja are on their flyers as well. Good evening to James Head, who joins us as well. Good to have everybody with their early greetings. That's great to see. As turning tightly then into the turn 14 and 15 goes Xenon. We have passed that second sector. Caution zones on the track don't concern us tremendously in qualifying, and the rear of the car already starting to let go here on Xenon. And an invalidation at the very last. Was that lap actually going to be good enough? We can't be certain just yet, but hopefully we will be able to pick that back up again and see if he was on with an opportunity. Nordic Ninjas made the same kind of an error, and Quartz is up on his fast time, and he's coordinating with his teammate as well down that fast section. So Quartz is now just 15 thousandths of a second only up on his fastest time on track at the moment, so he's not able to extract much more from the car, 131.760, but he's got a comfortable 4/10 of a second gap at the moment. We'll ride with him for now at least, as he just about keeps two wheels near enough to the black stuff on both the final two corners, and a 31.715 is just the tiniest fraction quicker for Quartz. Good lap from him. Let's ride then with Lucas, who was purpled in the first sector. That's a promising start for the Williams and our Williams team representatives tonight. So holding on with him. I think second sector not as quick, and you can use up your tyres in that first sector too much to actually have the required tools to finish with. Lucas then, he is quicker by 3/4 of a tenth of a second, but it's not enough to get him up above fourth position on the circuit. We did see that the G10 driver Boyer was helping his teammate with a tow. I wonder if his teammate has been able to return the favour. Not quite well. Yes, just about. Here we go. Perfect alignment between the two of them. But will the second driver in these well-worked strings of fast laps, will the second one actually be able to make it work and get 3 fast laps in at the end? Well, that was perfectly handled, and of course Boyer with ultimate faith in his teammate to move out of the way before the braking zone to give him the proper view of his braking points and his reference points as he goes through. Welcome to anybody just joining us. Where have you been for the first 13 minutes of qualifying? Let's get down to business, though. You're here for the final flyers, and that's what counts. 2 left-handers to go for Boyer as he rumbles over. Might have lost a little bit of time on that apex curb, that orange apex curb, just unseating the car slightly. But Boyer up into P2, a 132.025 is pretty handy out there, and he makes sure that G10 are dominating our provisional front row at this early stage of proceedings. Who else have we got on track? Well, it looks like both Aston Martins are about to set their times, are they? No, they're not. In fact, I think I'm misreading that as they're coming on into the pits. So unfortunately, that was not happening for those two. Lucas and Paul Power have not managed to set time. So prior to the final runs, we have got Quartz and Boyer for G10 on the front row. Then Nordic Ninja and Xenon a little gap behind. It is certainly achievable to get themselves up onto that front row if at all possible, but they just need to lift that a little bit and not invalidate on those in laps. In fact, Rambo is in the Alfa Romeo. He's in P5 on a 32.203, and a very small margin later we have the 2 Williams drivers, Lucas and Paul Parra. Then comes QSL's Rumco in 8th, Tigrex in 9th, and then Jeroen in 10th. Outside of the top 10 right now we have Oni, Killerstorm, Jackie Boy, Choski, Thomas Leo, Turu, and at the very back, not yet setting times or have been disqualified, not entirely sure, we've got Namsco and YCN for EXT. So the track will go quiet for just a moment as we then wait for the first drivers to come out of the pits for their next flyers. Well, the final flyers, of course, with 3 minutes on the clock. You've got to get all the way around without ruining your tyres. So it will be one more run for anybody who exits the pits in the next minute or so. Anybody outside of that, and they're going to struggle to get around before the checkered flag waves. I don't see Paul Parra having a problem, though. And perhaps we'll be able to actually watch him running. One of the Ferraris is out as well for their last flying lap. I'll just check out, see who that is. Is that Jeroen? It is. But he's some distance further back on the grid from current P7, Paul Parra. So we'll look forward to this one. Looks like we're going to be restarting for the race, I'm told. I'm not. Just need to check my communications here. So we will be restarting the race, and that's a penalty removal for Rambo. So it's Rambo's penalty removal that he's requested. It's been approved already. Live stewarding here, which is fantastic. But everyone will be resigning from the race immediately. We will then restart custom grid to replace Rambo in his proper position from qualifying. Talking about the dirt on that Red Bull, the Williams is looking even dirtier if possible, and they can't have had a great deal of pickup on the circuit as things stand. They haven't been that busy, have they? So Paul Parra, that gorgeous Duracell battery on the air hoop, which I think was one of the most inspired pieces of marketing I've seen so far. EXT are giving a fist bump. Chess is happy, I think, about that penalty removal, as we then are going to ride on board Paul Parra, at least for the first sector, and see if he can lift himself from his 132.413. His first target, as is every driver's target, is beat your teammate, and currently he is some 0.2 of a second away from his teammate. So a little gap to close there for bragging rights in team. But he'll be relatively happy to have a fellow Williams driver with him on the grid, looking smooth through the S's here. Maybe until that point, until I said it, then the smoothness dropped away a little bit. Let's just check on Jeroen. Wasn't in time, unfortunately, to pick up his sector time, but everyone is making their way out. We've got Xenon and Nordic Ninja out on outlaps as well. On fast laps already, in fact, they've started already. Here is Stretch to say go Nordic Ninja. It's currently, he's just popped in a second place time, a 31.784. That was ahead of the schedule I was expecting. So I don't know if Quartz is actually planning to stay out here. He hasn't come in. 1/10 of a second, he's almost where he needs to be, is Paul Parra, that we ride on in order to lift himself from 7th to 6th. But let's cheekily go and have a look then and see how the drivers are faring at the sharp end. Now, Boyer is defending his previous pole position, and the rear end of the car just lighting up slightly there for Boyer. Let's ride with him and see if he can make the difference, get G10's domination of the front row back where it was just a few moments prior to that Nordic Ninja lap. He's going to have to push incredibly hard, though. And I think he's not necessarily quite on target at this stage, is Boyer. Will drop down towards turn 12. Quartz has taken the checkered flag, so he will not go faster than a 131.715, and it is only 0.6 of a second away. Sorry, 0.06 of a second away that Nordic Ninja has managed to put in his final lap, I believe. Here comes Boyer. Jeroen has retired from the session, will do no better than 10th at this stage. Kind of surprised by that, and Boyer unfortunately has invalidated this lap. That won't improve. Another invalidation goes the way of the Sauber driver, Rambo, for whom we will be restarting. Looks like Rumsco has run his qualifying session as well, and unless it's one of the Haas cars that can lift themselves off the 10th and 16th starting positions. Looks like the EXT team have elected to join qualifying late and not take part in the qualifying session, running last to first challenges across the board. A small improvement from Tigrex, but he stays in 10th position. Turu, his teammate in DLX, and the Haas car remains in 16th. So we have our provisional grid. Things should start the way we see them. I'll take you through the actual grid, of course. When we get that confirmed, there was going to be a penalty for Einfach. There will no longer be a penalty for Einfach, but that will necessitate a short break while we simply reset the lobby and restart the race. Of course, a 50% race, as always, here at the Esports Masters League for the F2 Team Championship here. And for those latecomers, I will just run through the championship standing again, and the drivers, of course, that are taking part tonight will pick up on the grid. So I'll take you back through the championship standings once we get back into the gap between lobbies, and we'll have the grid confirmed for you and the overall times. That is second place for Nordic Ninja, and that'll be popular for the EPL team that are watching. So here we go then. On top, the Mercedes, driven by the G10 team. Quartz took the first flying lap, the fastest time straight away, and it always remained with him. A 1:31.715 from Nordic Ninja, only 69 hundredths of a second away. Boyalulu for G10 has to make do with starting just behind his teammate in a line. Then comes Xenon for LDL, Paul Para and Einfach Rambo in 5th and 6th. On row 4, we have Lucas and LDL's Oni, QSL's Rumco, and DLX Tigrex is on 9th and 10th. Then comes Jeroen, Killerstorm, Jackie Boy, Choski, Thomas Leo, Turu, and at the back will be the EXT drivers who did not set qualifying times. Hope you're looking forward to this. Hope you are primed and ready for a special race. EXT were actually serving a qualification ban. My apologies. So I've received extra information there from the boss who says that EXT was serving that ban. That's why they didn't set a time. That's why they're starting at the back. But with it all to play for, you never quite know what is going to happen when it comes to a Formula One race. So it's certainly not all run and finished here. It is absolutely still on. We'll be exiting as soon as the drivers are given the go-ahead. They will, of course, if they're watching and you are a teammate of those drivers, please make sure you remind them to change their setups for the race. Don't get excited. This isn't the real race. We will be exiting straight away. We'll get a quick look at how they start, but I imagine everyone is just going to be hitting the retirement button. Yes, we will perhaps not dwell on drivers crashing into each other. I think that's probably by virtue of everybody retiring and it all looking a little bit clumsy. But no worries. I'm hoping the DLX drivers have received the message. I'm pretty sure that they will have. But that always happens, doesn't it? When you have to restart. And we'll be... maybe somebody messaged the DLX crew because they are still running. No, they have got the message, and they're going nice and steadily here for us. I'll take a chance and see if we might be able to set up the screen properly for race start. No formation lap, so as a commentator, it's always a bit of a gamble, making sure that you get everything together. You get a quick look at the strategies that were put in place as well, but is that a little bit of kidology? Is that a bit of reverse psychology from the drivers choosing the wrong thing just in case it popped up on the screen and it makes everybody change? But we had a full gamut of tyre choices from the outset anyway. So I promised you some standings. Let's get into it, shall we? For the teams, of course, as the drivers alternate their standings. Ignore what's going on screen right now. Haas have not come first and second. But what we have for you then in terms of the championship, we've got LDL Esports, 2 wins, 4 podiums on 149 points. Clearly the team to beat at the moment, but Team GeForce are coming on close behind on 118. 31 points adrift with 1 win and 2 podiums. With 0 wins, 2 podiums and 117 points is Rising Lions. Then comes Grand Track 10, who we're expecting to see good things from here at the Circuit of the Americas, of course, by virtue of their qualifying times. They will be on 106 points. They have got 3 podiums and no wins between them, and are only 1 point ahead of Exastea, who are on 1 win, 1 podium on 105 points, 44 adrift of the championship leading LDL Esports. In 6th position, ESRL have 64 points. RVL have 54, LRN 53, QSL 47, and Deluxe are sitting at the bottom of the standings at the moment with 37 points. We will be racing for you as soon as our host can set up this special grid, but hopefully you will be able to enjoy our coverage shortly. I haven't seen any podium predictions yet. Give me driver podium predictions, please. I'm always interested to hear what the audience make and can predict. You can only pick 3 though. Don't hedge your bets. Let's actually hear some predictions. Let me hear what any other wild guesses you might have in terms of whether we'll have a safety car. If so, how many, and so on. First car to pick up a penalty, that's always a contentious one, isn't it? But I'm always keen to hear from you guys as to what you think is going to happen, and we'll see what actually happens. I want to know what you think about strategy as well. What's ideal around here? We saw in the provisional race there, a lot of drivers choosing every different available tyre. You have to use 2 compounds, of course. Is this a 2-stopper? If you are going to use the soft tyre, is that even viable over a 50% distance? Is it a simple medium and hard race? Is it a soft, medium, soft? What do you like? Maze says Ninja, YCN and Polpara for podium. Good to have some predictions out there straight away. I love to see it. Can anybody do better than Ninja, YCN, Polpara? Doesn't fancy, it seems, GT10. Who have been very, very quick in qualifying and, of course, have a distinct advantage there at the front of the grid. I'll be keeping a very close eye on the countdown here. We've got 18 drivers for you tonight, 9 teams represented, 1 team missing, but hopefully they'll rejoin us after the mid-season break, which is coming next week. So if you like tonight's coverage, make sure you drop a like, make sure you drop a subscribe on the channel, bring your friends in, share it on socials. I know it's very popular on socials today, the announcements that were going out, and but make sure that you bring your friends in to watch with us, but don't come next week because it's the mid-season break. 2 weeks time, same place, of course. We'll be here, and later on this evening we'll have the PSF 1 crew taking it. James says Ninja for the win, but he's obliged to say that, otherwise he'd be sacked. Okay, tell me the rest of the podium then, James, and who you would pick if you were not allowed to pick RLS. Let's play devil's advocate here, and you can't just automatically pick the bottom team in the championship either and cheer for the underdog. Let me hear your genuine attempt at a prediction. That'll be interesting anyway, but nice to know where your colours are currently nailed, and so we'll be able to take anything you say with an appropriate pinch of salt when it comes to your predictions and who you're cheering for. I haven't heard a lot of love for our teams yet. I've seen, obviously, Chess said EXT he's here for. Thaz is here for GT10, or it could be Taz if he is French, as it seems like certainly Boya. Lulu is representing France. Got a truly international feel here to the proceedings tonight. Great to see a broad range of flags, and not only Dutch and British or English flags. So a nice mix of everybody here. Diesel says stretch. Good stuff. But yeah, great to see so many different nationalities taking part, and it will be race time. Look, we've got just a few seconds left before we head back to the paddock and we enjoy tonight's race slightly later than build, but hopefully we'll be keeping your attention wrapped in time for you can join for the very final runs of qualifying in F1. I'll forgive you that much, but make sure you stay with us though to the checkered flag, and let's see if our race gets underway cleanly. Can we negotiate Big Red and the first few corners without major stoppage causing incidents? That is always a little bit of a shocker through this corner, but it's a very wide racing track and big runoff areas, so hopefully we'll avoid the ignominy of running behind the safety car too early on in our race. It can be fun to roll the dice a little bit on occasion, but it gets boring very quickly, doesn't it? If you see it too often. We'll be on track for you very, very soon. Good to have everybody with us. I hope you're hyped and excited for the race today, as hyped and excited as the Americans in the stand are currently, as the drivers just hopefully remember to change their setups from default. Otherwise, we are going to have a very interesting situation, aren't we? With drivers, I see it all the time when you have restarted lobbies. Someone or multiple people will forget. It is just before 3 p.m. local time. It is time to go racing. The shadows will elongate throughout the setting sun, but it shouldn't actually set fully. And while we are currently racing, and the revs are building, the lights are on, it's time to go racing. And it's dropped the clutch and go from the start. Both GT10 cars are looking pretty handy out there, but Nordic Ninja holding his own on the inside line, coming down into Big Red for the first time, and he's holding that inside line nicely, but it's Quartz who has managed to sprint away. Check out Xenon though, he's on the outside line through turn 2, becomes the inside line into turn 3. The little touch of tyres, sidewall to sidewall between the two, running in second and third position. But it looks like Nordic Ninja has been able to hold off neatly and tidily. I will check out starting tyres shortly, but I don't want to miss any of the enthralling action on this first opening lap. We'll just have to take it with a pinch of salt, though, as the Williams cars sandwiched together. LDLs only, and diving down already down the inside goes Lucas. Looks like Paul Parra taking things a little bit carefully against his teammate there, and we're hoping to tuck up into the slipstream as they head down and try and defend from the Red Bull. 6th and 7th as they started, the Williams crew, but Lucas ahead of Paul Parra now as the Haas driver goes down for a run on Rumsco. Namsco goes past Rumsco. That's easy for me to say, not. And further back in the crowd, it looks like Chowski and Tigrex are swapping positions, or was that in fact YCN and Jeroen? Jeroen getting a little bit loose. He's left the door open going into turn 14. Will he regret that one as Thomas Leo goes on through? And also his teammate Killer Storm looking for a way past Jeroen. Back to the front of the action though as we run through to finish out the first lap. It is Quartz from Nordic Ninja, and then we will have a quick look at tyres. Hard tyres for all four starters. That kind of is a bit of a surprise for me, but they've decided to consolidate their strong qualifying positions. Medium tyres for Rambo, and it looks like we've got move coming down. The Alpha Tauri going for a very, very late braking manoeuvre. A switchback coming from Paul Parra, potentially, who only cannot get through, but Namsko's managed to overtake both of them as they come on through. And it's Namsko on those soft tyres who had tremendous braking power into Big Red for that second time of asking under race conditions. 28 laps ahead of us. A complete mix of tyres. Soft tyres for Namsko, for YCN, Rumsko, Killer Storm and Turu. Mediums for Thomas Leo, Chowski, Rambo and Lucas and everybody else on what will possibly be the most racy, race-suitable hard tyre, as the Ferrari of Jeroen is struggling massively to get these hard tyres up to temperature. YCN is going for the move down into the classic turn 12, and he's trying to hold off the resurgent Paul Parra, as now Namsko and YCN on the exact same strategy. Watch out for that later in the pit sequence, are up to 7th and 8th and have split the Williams. However, LDL's only has not been able to do so. Rumsco has his hands full, and he manages to get through past Oni as well. And Oni is struggling, like we saw Jeroen on the warm-up phase of the hard tyres. No such problem further up the grid, though, as the top 4 have been able to get away. Lucas and Namsco filling each other's mirrors and vision here as we run through. And let's check out the position changes so far. 10 places up each for those soft starting Alpha Tauris, and down the inside runs Namsco, but Lucas tiptoeing around from the outside of the corner, trying to hold off here. He could do with his teammate Paul Parra getting into the mix here, but those soft tyres really have an advantage right now. How about 10 and 11 places climbed from the back, from not qualifying, from a cold start in every possible description. Tigrex has probably fared the worst out of everybody, down 6 places. Jeroen, both LRN and DLX have been having their problems as we see them. Paul Parra, a sign perhaps that those hard tyres are finally getting up to speed now, and he's able to start competing on the brakes. But Rumsco has gone through past Oni, who is having a real problem here trying to get a run going. Let's head up to the front of the field, though, because Nordic Ninja, and we've got a two-way traffic front and back here as the cars run in pairs, as G10's Boyer is struggling to defend here. Einfak and Namsco will be right with it, but Nordic Ninja and Einfak, it's a little bit of tangling going on. They're going to have to try their best to renegotiate that one, as those fast-starting cars, the ones predicted to be in tremendous podium positions, that is a huge problem for the Alfa Romeos of Nordic Ninja and Rambo. We go to a VSC, and already some of those soft runners are heading straight into the pits. Whether they've got damage or not, I imagine it is just the sensible choice. Namsco was too far up. Can you imagine? Starting at the back, and at the start of lap 4, you are so far up the grid that you miss out on the opportunity to pit earlier on. Quartz kept his nose clean from the start, though. Didn't get involved in any of that, and it's G10 first and third. In between, from starting at the back of the grid, is EXT and AlphaTauri's Namsco, but he's on soft tyres. He's not been able to shed those soft tyres early, and we go for the VSC. Pit stops off the early tyre choice for Lucas, Rumsco, Killerstorm, YCN, and Xenon, with Turu and Jackie Boy taking the opportunity as well. This is going to be absolutely fascinating how the strategies work out. If you fit hard tyres at the start of lap 4, do you have tyres left at the end of the pits? We have a drive-through penalty, speeding under the VSC for Lucas. That is a shame, but his teammate is still up in 4th. LDL's Oni has managed to pick himself back up again, and now he's fighting hard on the restart with Thomas Leo from RVL in the McLaren, and the Red Bull holding him off with the DRS as well. The McLaren trying to tuck back in. Anybody else making moves? Yes, we have a move here from Rambo, who goes down the inside of Tigrex. There is action up and down the grid every few seconds. This is fantastic stuff from our drivers. Thoroughly entertaining. We've had a little bit of contact. We've had a lot of strategic intrigue happening already, and it's Jeroen, who struggled in the warm-up phase, only possibly slightly more struggling than Oni was, and he's managed to pick himself back up to P5, but of course the top half of the grid yet to pit, and that's not unusual at this point in the race. But after the VSC, I'm just seeing suddenly lots of people joining the stream, so if you haven't been watching so far, you've missed a cracking first 5 laps. We are back under green flag racing. Quartz has a 4.7 second lead at the head of the field, and some of the tightest battles going on screen right now between McLaren and Red Bull. That is the RVL of Thomas Leo and the LDL of Only on the mediums versus the hard tyres, but it does look like Oni, Jeroen, Paul Parra, Boyer have managed to grip up those and warm up those hard tyres. Didn't suffer too much under the VSC. They didn't cool too much. We didn't have a super long VSC period. Will we see the full safety car at some point? Did Paul Parra manage to wiggle his way out of that turn 11? Yes, he did, but he's lost some time here. And Oni and Thomas Leo have a double DRS train situation, and it looks like, is that Jeroen trying to pass the similarly engined car of the Alfa Romeo there. Giroen in 8th position. Nordic Ninja and Rambo are trying to put their tanglement that possibly triggered the VSC on lap 3. They're trying to put that behind themselves, and it's 7th and 9th. A lot of predictions there saying that Nordic Ninja would be on the podium today. He's got a bit of a gap, though, out to leader, and there's developing a battle here for P2 as well, as Namco's soft tyres are starting to fade a little bit, and the track is coming to G10's Boyer. Quartz, though, 5.3 seconds ahead at the start of lap 6. Tremendous stuff then from Quartz. He has been quick in qualifying. He's translating that to the race, even on the hard tyres. It's not going to happen for Boyer right now, but Polpara and Oni are only 0.3 of a second away as they head into the S's. There could be some overtakes for 2nd position and for 4th position coming down into turn 12. Lucas is dropping down. What's going on with Lucas? He's in the pits to try and get rid of 2-lap-old hard tyres. Doesn't seem to like those hard tyres, even though he's only just put them on. So he's changed his strategy a little bit, and it's interesting to see that he's already swapping back off them. I wonder if he'll be putting, well, it's a new set of hards that are going on. Here then is Boyer with the DRS. It's just about managed to help him get through past Namsco, as just further back on the coverage we can see Oni passing Polpara, using those soft tyres to good effect. Polpara's not happy about it, and he's going to keep trying to retaliate there. Will he be able to sneak one up into turn 14? It's not quite on for him, but he's trying to stay in the wheel tracks. It's very difficult to stay tucked up behind the other car through this triple right-hander, but as the cars brake and have short radius corners of turns 19 and 20, it is a possibility to start following the car in front once again. Namsco, half a second as they get the DRS, as they cross the start-finish line. Namsco, half a second away from P2, which is now top 2, is now headed by G10. No move down into the first corner then from Namsco. That time, anybody looking for an opportunity, not quite, but it is absolutely breathless stuff, as we are already 1/4 distance. Incredible to have passed that threshold already. Namsco only 0.4 of a second away here, but he's drifting away through the S's as the dirty air effect takes his grip at the front of the car away. Jackie Boy, new fastest lap, 1:36.049, and we've got a couple of penalties on the cars already. 3-second track limit penalties for Thomas Leo. Killer Storm is not looking good for McLaren at this stage with those penalties. DLX's Turo down in 16th position. I hope you're enjoying this one tonight with us. I certainly am, as Namsco is 0.4 of a second. He gets down to just over 0.3 of a second away from 2nd position. And now we've got Thomas Leo with the 3-second penalty, but closing in on the battle for 4th here between Oni and Paul Para. Stephen C says, come on, boys, you're going to have to be slightly more specific than that, Stephen. Let me hear which boys you're talking about specifically. Which drivers, which team are you here to support? Both Alfa Romeos, they got tangled up with other rivals on lap 3. It triggered a virtual safety car. I'm not giving any blame at this point. It's not my job, but it's a fact that happened. A VSC happened. They both pitted. And actually, Polpara has drifted back slightly into the clutches here of Thomas Leo, but IMFAC and Nordic Ninja for Alfa Romeo are closing up then on this battle and bringing themselves into the hunt here. It is looking fantastic. We've got some interesting icons being dropped there by the boss. He can't watch. He's too wrapped up in this one. Remember, though, at the front of the grid, it is Quartz. 6.1 seconds ahead now on lap 8, ahead of his teammate Boyer, who only has a 0.7 of a second gap out to Namsco, who needs to shed those soft tyres soon. As soon as he drops out of DRS range, I think he'll be looking at a swap out for medium or hard tyres. But he might be trying to play the waiting game here for another safety car. Once you look at the track map, Bo, the cars are starting to spread out a little bit, and that reduces your chances of a safety car. It's only because we had so many cars together on track that I think we triggered a VSC. at that point in the race. It was only lap 3, but we had 2 pairs of drivers fighting within, I think, about 1 second of all 4 of them. And it just got a little bit messy, didn't it, into the 3rd sector of the racetrack. Namsco is just about the closest driver to rival. Let's ride with him then and see how the car is handling on these soft tyres. A little bit of washout there, but not as much as the driver in front of him, who would have had to have just blended out of the throttle for Boyer to avoid a warning on his car. Namsco has the DRS. He's keeping that DRS nicely, but it's the traction out of the final turn 20, is problematic as these soft tyres are getting well past their best. We run through the S's neat and tidy here from both drivers. Thomas Leo is right with the Williams in front of him of Paul Parra. And Paul Parra has actually dropped back and now does not have DRS. So we've got Namsco with DRS. We've got Thomas Leo with the first DRS in the group. Then comes Jeroen in the Ferrari for LRN. And hopefully you'll see then that they should be able to bring themselves into contention as they run into the next few laps. I don't think Namsco is close enough. I think you need to be within 0.4 of a second coming out of the one of the slowest corners there, turn 11, to be within a shout here. You may, unless you've got slightly less drag. Here comes Thomas then. He's got himself ahead for RVL of the Williams of Paul Parra and down into a classic overtake into turn 12. Paul Parra couldn't afford to fight that too hard because he can see in his mirrors that Rambo is closing in, and closing in he is very much. Sneaks one down the inside of turn 14, and that is turn 15, and that is a very classic little bit of sneakery from him as he runs all the way around the outside on the triple right-hander. That was skillfully done, staying within track limits, managing to hold that inside line for the last 2 corners. But will he give up too much in the way of DRS? No, he's managed to stay within DRS range of the car in front as well. So only just, but he managed to do it, and that has helped him stay ahead of the Williams. So after 10 laps, it's Quartz and Boyer. It's Namsco from the back of the grid for EXT, but he still needs to pit in a pretty desperate state now on 9-lap-old softs. Oni is in 4th after a really rough first stint on the hard tyres. Next comes Thomas Leo and Rambo in 6th. Paul Parra is 7th on screen. Behind him, 2.5 seconds back, Jeroen, Nordic Ninja and YCN. And outside of the top 10 at this stage, some of these drivers have pitted under the VSC. Comes your Killer Storm, Tigrex, Xenon, Jackie Boy, Rumsco, Lucas and Turu. We lost, unfortunately, one of the Aston Martin's QSL driver, Chowski, but we still have 17 of the 18 drivers left in the race. Namsco is just under half a second away. And we'll just jump backwards and see Rambo versus Thomas. Well, Rambo takes it beautifully as we head into turn 12. That was well completed from him. We've got driver of the day votes to place after the stream, but in the comments here. So make sure you do that for us, and make sure that if you're enjoying the stream today, you've liked the video, you subscribe to the channel. If you like the commentary, I'm at WebORed5 if you like that kind of thing as well. But if half a second back is Thomas Leo, Namsco only 0.6 of a second away from Boyer Lulu, and Boyer and G10, no one was picking them in the predictions, but G10 are holding on beautifully right now. And here is Rambo defending now against Thomas Leo with the DRS. He leaves the door open to the inside. He takes the ideal racing line through the corner, and he just wasn't buying any of what Thomas Leo was selling. It's a lap 11 of 28, and we should be nearing the first of the scheduled pit stops. Certainly, we've got to be nearing the first pit stop for Namsco, the only holdout on the soft tyre. He just didn't have that option under the VSC. Frankly, he'd already passed the safety, the pit lane entry point. Just flirting with disaster goes Thomas Leo, almost steps over the apex white line there and picks up a strict penalty for track limits. So he's going to have to be doubly careful as he's already wearing a penalty on the car, as is his teammate Killer Storm and Rumsco down in 15th position. No change at the podium positions, but a possible change coming further back here. Looks like Jeroen might be under threat as they come out of the out of turn 11, long, lumpy straight all the way down to turn 12, and Nordic Ninja has got through as well. He is on 10-lap old hard tyres. So the top 9 drivers yet to pit. We are waiting. Certainly Namsco appears to be waiting for a VSC or safety car here, but he's going to have to give it up and head into the pits soon. Surely he's now dropped out of DRS range, and that will be the decline point for him. Will it be decision point? We shall wait and see. How much of tyre mastery has he got? Well, he's not very confident because he's gone into the pits now at the end of lap 12 off the soft tyres. I think the medium tyres will be available to him for the rest of the grid now, and they will be available for anyone who's not already wearing them. Will be able to run those medium tyres to the end with just a little bit of tyre conservation to the end of the race. The medium tyre, typically the favourite of the race tyres. Doesn't matter where you are, the medium tyre is usually what is going to run the bulk of anybody's race. So further back in the hunt for third position comes Rambo now. He's managed to pick up some pace as well. As the boss says, as May says, G10 are on fire right now. 6.7 seconds apart, but a further 4.3 seconds from third position, which has started to be contested here between Rambo in fourth and Oni, who will be looking in his mirrors from the Red Bull. The McLaren as well coming on in. Stephen, I still don't know who you're cheering for, so we hope the win is good, but I still need to know who it is that we are talking about. Which boys, which drivers, which team. That's what I want to hear. Anyway, Rambo is in fourth position. He got down to within a quarter of a second of Oni's car, but the top two are starting to stretch themselves away here and bring themselves into a good position. Expect pit stops at any time now from the hard starters, even and all from the medium starters. For any time between now and lap 20, those cars will be able to choose a pit stop. They may decide to keep running for the rest of that period in the hope that another safety car will come. But as I said earlier, the track map shows that apart from these 3 cars, there's quite nice gaps between each of the drivers. So Acid says go G10. He's obviously he or they are obviously very pleased to see G10 on top. And Quartz was by far the fastest in qualifying, but honestly, Boyer is also pulling out all the stops to lay in. Jerome has picked up a 3-second penalty, so our fourth driver now wearing a 3-second penalty. It's always a bit of a nightmare for a commentator to see drivers picking up those penalties that'll be paid later on, but we will do our best to try and keep in touch with it all. DRS will be available for Rambo. Let's ride with him, as the car behind Thomas will also have it. Here comes Rambo then down the inside. He's certainly got the overspeed ready. I think he'll even get fully ahead, will he, before the braking zone, and a slight bit of under rotation. The merest hint of a lockup on that front left, but he is there already into third place. Now that he's got past LDL's only, will Rambo be able to start bringing himself forward and continue the rescue job he's got on this particular race following the incident on lap 3? We shall see. But those medium tyres, he's certainly not preserving them at the moment, as he caught one of them with a little bit of a lockup. Is he coming into the pits after just making the overtake? Yes, indeed he is. So Rambo in. Thomas Leo is content to run in the DRS, but that looks like Rambo will be in and back out again with 14 laps to go. We have the halfway point reached of our race, and here is a bit of competition between Killer Storm and Nordic Ninja. Killer Storm bringing the McLaren forward, and that is slowing Nordic Ninja into the clutches of Jeroen. Now, Nordic Ninja can see the penalty flags have been applied to the names of the driver in front and behind him, so he's not going to get too excited about this, but he also knows that his teammate is just having his pit stop, and he'll be just cognizant that he doesn't drift too far away here, because the RLS team will be keen for a really positive and strong result. LDL, I believe, were leading our championship. Whether they will still continue to do so at the end of this, I'm not entirely sure. GT10, Grand Track 10 team, were fourth coming into today, but they've currently got both of those front positions. So it looks like Nordic Ninja back on Killer Storm. Was he just keeping his powder dry there? It's possible. Quite happy to let the overtake happen, and he can then use the DRS on the next lap through. Any further pit stops yet? Not quite. That was a little bit ahead of schedule, potentially, for Rambo, who has come out on the hard tyres. So he'll be slow for a lap or two, just bringing those hard tyres in. It is lap 15. We have made it into the second half of the race, and there goes our McLaren of Killer Storm. McLaren are going to be double stacking this one. You can see Thomas Leo is in the pits. He's just pulled into his pit box. McLaren looking for a nice clean double stack option here. Mechanics needing to get out of the way quickly and do so. That was timed beautifully from them. So tip the nod to those guys. Paul Para is in fifth, and he is chasing down YCN, who started at the back of the grid thanks to a qualification ban for EXT. It's not hurting their race prospects at all, though, is it? They are putting in some fantastic performances here. EXT, I think, we're in fifth position in the championship at the moment, just 1 point behind GT10. So both of those teams having very, very strong visits here to Austin, Texas. Paul Para, 0.7 of a second away from YCN. Further back in the grid, we have got some close battles for 12th, 13th and 14th at the moment, coming out of the pits, those drivers. But these are competitive potential overtakes. Another inside left lockup, this time on Paul Para's Williams. So that is affecting the hard tyres as well. And despite the fact that these tyres are well up to temperature, he is struggling a little bit. There's a hint of a flat spot on the tyres, and he's starting to just go sideways slightly when he's trying to go straight out of a corner. Will Paul Para decide now that the medium tyre window is open for himself and it's time to pit? Yes, indeed he will. To the left of the cone he goes and into the pits. Just when you start to feel the tyres going, it's a pretty sensible time to pit. Looks like Namsco is out of the pits. He is back into second position as Boya Lulu for GT10 is in the pits himself. So Quartz looking to try and lead every single lap here by being the last of the hard tyre starting drivers to pit, and the race just gets better and better for that driver because they start on hard tyres, they go on to grippier mediums or even potentially soft tyres. 12 laps, we have seen 12 laps get extracted out of an even heavier car earlier on today, and that was Namsco himself that ran that strategy. So we will see how that one works out. Further down in the grid then, Paul Para has emerged ahead of Nordic Ninja, who is himself within DRS range of Jerome behind, and Jackie Boy, both Ferraris, starting to try and bring themselves forward. This is going to be really, really interesting as we get through. Good evening to Duncan as well. Nice to see you. And let me know who you're here to support, or if you haven't got a favourite driver yet, have you found one yet? That's always interesting for me as well. So Nordic Ninja with the DRS, but so has the Williams in front of him. He's going to use a little bit of ERS deployment here to manage to get down the inside, but it's not cut and dry. It's not clear cut, that one, and the Williams will be able to hold on to the outside, becomes the inside for the next one. Now he might want to start thinking about a defence on the way into turn 15. You leave the door too far open and the driver will have a go, and he did exactly the right thing positioning in his car. Not too far to the left to lose grip through the corner, but not so far to the right that he opens the door and welcomes the driver behind. Quartz has come into the pits. That puts him behind Namsco. Namsco has put in some outrageously good in and out laps to actually manage to get out ahead, 1.8 seconds ahead of our former leader after they have both stopped. So amazing stuff from Namsco, but his tyres are 5 laps older. That is going to be really, really key later on. And already Quartz, bringing those medium tyres up to speed quickly, has already got some starting to chew away at some of that lead that he has managed to pick up. We'll keep our eye on the front of the grid, of course, but right now there's a battle going on between Oni, who's had a really busy race so far, and Thomas Leo in front of him for the RVL versus the championship leading LDL team. However, that team right now, 6th and 12th, might be ending up after today's race giving up that lead of the championship. 1.5 seconds at the front of the grid, 1.4 now, as here comes Oni with a classic DRS simple overtake. Should be well ahead then of the car behind, and so he is. Works out well enough for Oni. Can he now bring himself away from the DRS range from the car behind over the course of the next few corners? One of the real racy advantages here of this circuit of the Americas is that those DRS zones are really nicely spaced across the track, so it's actually quite hard to generate too much of distance from the car behind. How about Quartz and his first lap, though? He's now halved the distance to Namsko in front. Namsko's lead will only last one lap or two. Well, he's obviously catching is one thing, passing is another, so said the greatest commentator of our time, as YCN then looks for a look down the inside with DRS, but doing it on the brakes as well. Very nicely done. Let's head up then to see if Quartz is going to be able to get through. Now, he's impatient to get past, but is he too impatient? He needs to time this one well enough, and I think he probably won't go for it down into turn 11 now that they've got there, because it will make turn 12 all the easier. Doesn't really want to be playing too hard with Namsko, and breezes on by. So his hardship in second place did not last a huge amount of time, did it? As we now have Quartz back where he qualified, back where he has run all but one of the laps of the race, into first position then on lap 18. We have 10 complete laps to run, plus the portion of the lap they are currently on. Let's have a look at YCN, who almost collects the diffuser strakes of the Red Bull in front of him, of Oni, who is heading backwards at the moment. He's in between Einfak in 4th and YCN here in 6th position. Thomas Leo's dropped down to 7th now, temporarily, as I think everybody has now made their pit stops. New fastest lap while overtaking went the way of Quartz, as Thomas Leo picks up his second penalty. There you have the penalty accrual so far. I'm interested, though, to see after all the pit stops how the grid has changed. Up 15, Namsko. Up 12, YCN. That qualifying ban hasn't hurt them very much, has it? Quite frankly. Up 8, though, a mention goes the way of Thomas Leo, who has been able to do that with tripping up over the track limit penalties a little bit, with 6 seconds of penalty on the car, so I won't celebrate him too much. Down 7 places, though, Nordic Ninja and Xenon so far. Einfak has gained 2 despite an earlier than scheduled pit stop after coming into contact with other drivers prior to the first VSC, and only VSC, on the 3rd lap. Here we have then another fantastic bit of racing, but it looks like it's going to be another DRS pass here, this time for Oni for 4th position. In fact, Rambo is fighting a little bit. Is he fighting it so much that he invites YCN to have a go? Well, YCN is on the outside line here. This could get a little bit tricky for YCN. If he can hang on all the way around the outside, that was very nicely done, leaving good racing room from both drivers, and both managed to emerge from that manoeuvre unscathed, thankfully. Namsko is in 15th position. Boyer is in 3rd. He was running 2nd for a while. Can he live with the pace of Namsko? Is he going to have to wait to the end of the race when Namsko's tyres are a lot older? Is going to be the real question remaining here. I think Quartz is fast enough to repel any further moves. Here is YCN with the DRS. Doesn't want to make the overtake, and we got really busy 6-way traffic at the moment in the battle for 4th position, led by Oni, with YCN, Rambo, Thomas Leo, Pol Para, Nordic Ninja and Jirowan all within sight of each other. Tremendous stuff in the midfield here. While it looks like our podium is getting settled, Boyer has picked up a little bit of pace versus Namsko, and their tyres are only half the age so far of Namsko's. I think that's going to come into play at the end of the race, but Boyer with some great pace here, and Quartz checking out as we speak. But of course, it is all to play for outside of that podium. YCN has passed Oni, nice and easy there with the DRS. Thomas Leo tempted to have a go, and he'll be even more tempted thanks to that huge lockup on the on Rambo's car. Rambo with the hard tyres, 6 laps into their tyre life, is clearly struggling against the superior mediums. Nice little switch back from Polpara down into turn 15. We've seen drivers hang around the outside here. Polpara looks a little bit shy of this one, a little bit less confident of his car's ability, and he doesn't manage to stay with Thomas Leo all the way round, as the gap between places 2nd and 3rd comes down to 3.2 seconds. We have 7 laps remaining now, as LDL and Only have managed to clear Rambo and Thomas Leo. Thanks to that lockup on Rambo's car, the cars have kind of concertinaed away from YCN and Oni. Rambo is struggling right now. He is really not having the kind of grip that he would like out of the car, out of the hard tyres. Stay with us, won't you, to the end? This has been really gripping stuff. I mean, I will allow for multi-screening and tuning into F1, but don't go away from the race. You never know what's going to happen. It has been very hard fought and fantastic stuff here for our drivers. Looks like Rambo then, is he starting to get a little bit of control back on the car as they run down the long run? I'll just check out if Oni's going to go for it. He is not. Thomas Leo is all the way around the outside of Rambo, who fought that one, but he couldn't do much about it with his traction problems out of turn 11. Everything's just compounding for Rambo right now. He's on those hard tyres. Thomas is in front of him. There's, not a huge difference between the performance. Xenon has retired from the session for Red Bull for the championship leading LDL team. This is big news for our championship. Is it big news for our race? You bet it is. It's a safety car, and some of these rearmost drivers are pitting. 4th backwards have been able to pit earlier ahead of the top 3. Now, will the top 3 get around before the safety car comes out? I think they might do, but this is going to be advantage to them. I think we're going to have soft tyres for everybody that's got a clear set left. There is only 6 laps to go of running, probably 3 or 4. My word. I told you not to go anywhere. I'm going to reiterate that right now, because we are going to have a 3-lap sprint at the end of this race to settle this, with all the cars brought together thanks to the safety car. Who is winning and losing out of that safety car period? Nobody particularly is next to their teammate. I think Nordic Ninja was closest, and he's already got through okay. The question, though, is will all 3 of our current podium sitters be able to pit before the snake catches up? I think they will. Where is our safety car right now? It's on the exit of turn 2. The yellow dot you can see on the track map is our safety car. So I think they will be okay. They're all running to the safety car delta, so no one should be catching each other at this stage, and there should be enough time now for the top 3 to pit in sequence. Boyer is far enough away from his teammate to suffer any real penalty, but check this one out. We are going to have a 3-lap, I would estimate a 3-lap sprint at the end of our race. Into the pits is going to come Quartz. The interesting one for me there is Rumsco, who is on old hard tyres. Will he manage to finish anywhere other than 15th today? I wonder, or the last runner, however that works out. There then is Quartz, Namsco. They were far enough ahead here of the rest of the grid to be able to fit the soft tyres, come out, rejoin behind the safety car, and prepare themselves for a real bit of drama at the end of the race. This should then be the last incidence of the safety car. I don't think we will get another one. I think we'll be within that last 4-lap period where the game or sim platform doesn't impose a further one on us, and then we will be back to our positions. So another little review then of where everybody is on the grid. 15 up for Namsco, 14 up for YCN, starting at the back, serving qualifying bands. The GT10 Mercedes are exactly where they started, but credit to them for still being there. Thomas Leo, he has 6 seconds of penalties, but he's up 9 places so far. This safety car is terrible for Thomas Leo, who is in 6th, had good field spread, and now it's down to nothing. Another reason for our drivers why paying attention to those positions is so important, to those track limits. You do get 2 warnings prior to your first penalty being awarded, so it doesn't come out of nowhere. Sometimes you might pick up 2 consecutive warnings for the same corner. Nordic Ninja hasn't done particularly well out of that safety car period. He's dropped down 8 positions, but with a hard reset on the gaps, look for those Alfa Romeos to pick up places. Once again, we're still obviously going to wait a little while here for the grid to cycle through. We've got Jeroen, who's made up 2 places total. Oni has made up 3. Oni's been surrounded by drivers all night long, and certainly will earn the points he gets for 5th place tonight. So look forward to that one. If you're new to the stream, if you're new to the Esports Masters League, I can tell you that 30 points are awarded to the winner, 25 for 2nd, 20 for 3rd, and then it goes down 17, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, and so on, down to 19th place for 1 point, no points for 20th. I think you don't get points if you finish, if you fail to finish. So it's the running cars will finish, and then 1 point for fastest lap. Let's check out the fastest lap while we're talking about it, shall we? And well, no surprises, but it's Quartz. He was the fastest in qualifying. He's been the fastest so far in race trim. Everyone has a good crack at fastest lap here. And I kind of am expecting that Lucas will have caught the back of the safety car train, and we will be able to go racing at the start of lap 25. So a 3-lap sprint for our drivers to try and make everything count. Look everywhere. Please, while you're watching us here, be my spotters, call out moves, because there are going to be moves up and down the grid. But I'll be focusing, of course, on the podium battle. It's G10 versus EXT. Who's your money on? Who do you fancy for this one? Can Quartz, who has been fast all race meets so far, can he manage to make this one stick and keep hold of that lead? Or is he vulnerable to Namsco, to YCN? Outside chance to Oni for a podium here. I don't see Thomas Leo doing anything with those penalties, and I'll just check out those penalties one more time for you while we wait and watch for the pit stops. Penalties, 6 seconds for Thomas Leo. He'll be lucky to finish inside the top 10 at this rate, and then 3 seconds each for Jeroen, Killer Storm, Rumsco and Lucas. Thankfully, we will have the safety car in. We don't need to be looking at the tyres because everybody's on softs. 2, 3 and even 4 stops have been done. I'll leave the penalties on. We can keep an eye on everybody. And now Quartz, into the 3rd sector of the racetrack, gets to choose the speed here, and may decide to condense the field right down, may actually decide to stretch. I most often see drivers light the touch paper on the way out of, or the way sort of through, the penultimate corner as soon as they are able to. Watch out also for any drivers mistiming and misjudging their throttle. I think Quartz has gone already, and it is, as I said before, GT10 versus EXT for this podium, up and down as they go racing on the start of lap 25 out of 28. We have a full reset as car 69 YCN is already quick, and it's Boyer who goes for the defensive maneuver. We've got a move coming from Nordic Ninja, moving his way through as well. He was much fancied in the live chat earlier on, was Nordic Ninja for a podium tonight, and a lot of places changing all through. RLS for the win, says Scott Marshall. That is I love a good bold statement, bold prediction. That's a huge one. I'm assuming Rambo he's picking for the win here, but if you've only just joined us, G10 have been quick this whole race meet, so they are the team to beat for sure. And already it looks like Boyer just stretching away slightly from the rest of the field and trying to live with the pace of Namsko. I'm not sure that Quartz has a rival tonight, but it's very easy to make a mistake. You want to see the gap? Absolutely. Good shout. Good shout indeed. Let's go back to gap for Val. And welcome to the stream, Val, for your first comments. But horrible camera angle. I do apologise on that one. Tucked underneath the halo of the car, as it looks like Oni in P5 having a good restart as well. The drivers will just be qualifying laps now, unless they've got traffic in front of them, as Tigrex picks up a penalty as well. Those penalties are going to really add up. Namsko has slipped out of DRS. How about Quartz then on that first restart lap, getting out of DRS for a moment at very least, and I think he'll be able to stay ahead after the S's. Not too many dramatic overtakes happening up and down the field at this stage. Not as many as I was expecting with the full reset on the drivers. The competition level among this F2 crowd is absolutely immense, and it is meaning that they are, when they have ideal grip, low weight cars, they really are already at the point where they're maximizing those lap times. Quartz with a 3/4 of a second advantage at the moment from Namsko, who has himself a similar gap out to Boyer, but Boyer is closing that in. Here is Jeroen on pole para. This is without DRS, so this is a competitive on the brakes kind of an overtake situation, and it might take multiple corners to come to fruition. Jeroen will be looking for that tight line here to be able to duke out to the left-hand side on the way into 15. It hasn't worked out for him, but he's trying to nail that exit beautifully out of 15. He's got to pick a different line though, otherwise he is going to suffer tremendous aero wake on that triple right-hander. G10 leads from Namsko, Quartz from Namsko from Boyer, 1, 2, 3, and then YCN in 4th position, and he is close to the potential podium as well. Let's head up to that potential podium and have a look at those drivers coming on through. No moves to overtake. I'm just going to trip through the field here as a little bit of a look down the inside. Tries Lucas, but it's no way through. Jackie Boy at the tail of the field, but the field is incredibly close, as you would expect from 2 stoppages so far. YCN looking like he might be able to go for it. Now, the drivers will be starting to balance in their minds and weigh up the options here. Is it better to attack now or attack on the last lap? That is the question. Now, if you choose to attack on the last lap, you might make a mistake on this lap and not have that opportunity. You've got to take it when you can. That seems to be the golden rule. Namsko is really close here to Quartz. Is Quartz saving his ERS for the end? How about Boyer, though, down the inside, trying to hold off? This is going to be... They interlock wheels. They are that close as they head out of 12 into 13. And actually, it looks like Boyer is going to lose out on the podium. He's going to dive down the inside into 15. But his exit from 15 is going to be problematic. He's still on the inside. He's still on the wrong side of the circuit, frankly, to make this one work. It looks like YCN, 3, 4, 5 turns later, has been able to double down and keep that position as they're about to start the final lap of racing tonight here, and the final lap of racing before our midweek break next week. Here we go. One more lap for our drivers, and Namsko is within range. Boyer is absolutely within range and has and can see that the ERS has been spent from the YCN car in front of him. Let's have a quick cheeky look at our ERS deployment. Ideal balancing act going on between the G10 cars. They both have something in the region of 40%. I'm going to break my own rule now and reveal it to everybody because there's nothing anyone can do about it here. Running low on fuel, as you would expect. Half a second then for Namsko as they go down into turn 11. The next and possibly final overtaking point is coming for Namsko. Can Quartz hold on? Well, Quartz has more ERS deployment to use. He will be mashing that button. So will Boyer behind as they go side by side. Shades of Turkey as they come down into this corner, and that is Boyer back onto the provisional podium. Namsko is close. He couldn't be closer. What about Quartz? Is he going to hold that inside line going into 15? Looks like he just does a little wiggle. Namsko weaves to the inside. A late dive to the inside, but it looks like Quartz is equal to it. Can he hold on? Or will Namsko ride the high line all the way around this corner? He's going to go for it into the penultimate corner. He can't quite do it. All the pressure on Quartz. He's drained the battery. He's drained everything he's got available to him. Quartz is going to exit that final corner, and Quartz is going to win in Texas at the Circuit of the Americas. Quartz wins for G10. Namsko takes it for second position for EXT. Boyer is managed to take that third position by 0.2 of a second. We see Rambo, Polpara, Oni, Nordic Ninja, Killerstorm and Thomas Leo after the penalties of swap positions. Jeroen, Lucas lifting himself from the back to P12 in the last 3 laps. Rumsko, Tigrex and Jackie Boy, your final points positions. But GG to everybody. Cracking last few laps. Great performance from G10. EXT from the back of the grid, both of them serving a qualifying ban. Remember to drop in the comments here your driver of the day. The game gives it to Namsko for most places gained, as it always does. But was Namsko indeed your driver of the day, or did pole sitter and lead holder and winner, did he deserve it? Did Quark deserve it or not? That's the big question for you. It's champagne time for G10 for one half of the EXT team. And what a hold on by Boyer there at the end as well. Really, really had to work for it as bottles are clinked. Hope you enjoyed it today. If you haven't already left a like on the video, please do so. It means the world to us. Here is Quartz then with the win. He did not pick up the fastest lap, though. That goes by way of Namsko, just 0.4 of a second away. Flattering a little bit thanks to the safety car. Next up comes Boyer for G10, a 1-3 double podium. Great result for G10. Another equally great result, frankly, for EXT, who would come in with lower hopes with that qualifying ban. Rambo, Polpara, Oni, the only LDL driver to score points tonight from the championship lead. Next comes RLS's Nordic Ninja. RVL Killerstorm and Thomas Leo are in 9th and 10th. Then Jeroen, Lucas, Rumsko, Tigrex, Jackie Boy and Xenon. Jackie Boy, I believe, was our last finisher, but Xenon down there, and we lost a couple of the other drivers. But I hope you enjoyed it today. I hope that I added to the coverage for you and the enjoyment. But like I say, do drop us a subscribe, do drop us a like on the video, share your favorite clip or moment. And if you like the commentary, it's at WebORed5. But from everybody here at Esports Masters League, PSF2, do join us in 2 weeks' time for the next round of and the second half of our fantastic Season 6 championship. For now, though, thank you for watching, and we will catch you on the next race day.